So now Neil deGrasse Tyson has done this as well. Talked about there being, and so now there's a whole stack of falsehoods that are starting to mount up. That's the language around gender theory, queer theory, and transgenderism, and really what I call gender sexualism, because none of this is just some weird ideology. Neil deGrasse Tyson practically said it in his little screed that he's like, that he basically did this thing of, how do I convince you to stop denying there's a spectrum? If because blah 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 biology. And it's like, yeah, because this is an ideology. And in fact, Michael Knowles nailed it. One of the things that keeps coming up is the true self. The true self is something that you will find if you look for references to it in popular writing over the last lifetime. You'll find it almost as entirely from occultism. And so it's from like spurious areas of psychology, and it comes from an area entirely of occultism. Like, I could really say that this definitely comes from Rosicrucianism. That guy. I can't believe his name is escaping me right now, because I have a number of his books. He really focused on using tarot cards in his kind of Rosicrucian mysticism. Anyway, Paul Foster Case. There we go. And so, anyway, true self is something that they use, that there's some kind of thing, the true self, and that you're meditating and doing all this stuff to activate the power of your true self, and that it'll come out and your life will be better, you'll feel happier, you won't even understand how. No, it's these practices work so well, and you have to identify aspects of your true self. So there's all this, use of post-medieval alchemy, symbols, and pseudo-psychological terms, and then at some point inevitably comes up Guru Yogananda, something or other, and the stuff that character said. But that's where what true self is supposed to be it's just bad theology and bad psychology for the soul. And Michael Knowles points this out, that when these people are talking about their true selves, we already have a word for that. It's the soul. And so what you end up getting are these people who are trying to say that their soul is the soul of another sex. That's it. That's all they're trying to pretend, trying to make you agree to. That they could have, and that it's not that there's something wrong with this person, that biologically there's something wrong with them. No. They have a true self, and they can detect that their true self is not in accord with their biology. So that this is the next step up. See, because you see, most people don't even know their true self. See, which it would have to be a part of the logic of this, the way that one would have to walk through this, because, like, say with Christianity, because Christianity is not practical magic, it's not trying to build up your soul power, really. It's trying to put you into the proper set of order, so that your soul is doing sort of what it's supposed to do in the order of things, just like plants and animals and stuff. And with the idea being, humans can ruin their soul. Like a plant can't poison itself. But the idea is that humans do have to sort of keep their soul really from dying, is the idea in Christianity. Because it's no longer practical magic where you're trying to gain soul powers, which then would be that whole ideology of the true self, where you now have gotten past some kind of false self, and that you are now aware of some kind of internal true self, and that you have some kind of method of doing so. This method, I mean, it could be unique to you, like some kind of mystic or something like that, but These people are saying there's not just a systematic way of doing this, there's a way of doing it that you basically are accessing the true self by altering the physical body. You're allowing now the true self to come out, because really this person's true essence, their true self, their soul, is a different form than it's supposed to be when it manifests into the material world. This is all stuff from Gnosticism. Not even Buddhists, like Zen Buddhists, cannot believe in gender sexualism. And anybody who's listening to this, that they're a Buddhist and they're like, I disagree. Did not Bodhidharma slap the monk on the head with the sandal? Now, if you don't know that and what that reference is to, you probably know a reference that's similar, but the whole reference, Bodhidharma slaps a monk on the head with the sandal. That is the whole thing of your body and your mind are one. They're not separate of one another. So Buddhism rejects this idea entirely, calling it a false view. And that's that. So that's why most of the Buddhist world will never really be able to accept this. These will be people who have their own category. As it does seem they do, that there's actually terminology that puts these people in their own categories in Japan and Thailand and China, that from what I gathered so far. And references I've heard. But Neil deGrasse Tyson going there, that really shows, one, that there is an active effort by a certain level of the intellectual class really to really shine people on. And this is the second or third time that Neil deGrasse Tyson has kicked some super phony shit like this. And but one of the things that he solidly did that I really like that he did is that he started using this supposed, he goes, well, sometimes you feel this percentage male or this percentage female, and you do this thing that is obviously one of those. Derp. Now, the only scale he could possibly ever refer to, as we all know, is the Kinsey scale, a scale derived from abusing children. So it's just a matter of exactly what kind of piece of shit are you, Neil deGrasse Tyson? Like, not only was it the prick that you were on the wrong side of, and that it was obvious that everybody was wrong because you had a control group, not only the Swedes, but then you had what was called the masses of homeless people. And because they weren't getting stretchered left and right by this horrible plague, it was very obvious many people were wrong about its virility. And so we were right, you were wrong. And now on this one, the beauty of it is not only are you wrong, but then when you try to cite something that supposedly is science on it, you cite one of the greatest examples of pseudoscience that has ever existed, the Kinsey scale. And so I'm really glad he's done something like this, because the more these people try to wrap themselves up in, this isn't something totally showing volition. And, can you reproduce people like this? No, you cannot. You can't. This isn't a trait. Can you find what alleles are bound to this? No, because it's not a trait. So more and more, I'm liking that somebody like Neil deGrasse Tyson goes out of his way to do something this fucking stupid, especially trying to gin up a system of metrics, because that's where you really get pseudoscientists, is that when they gin up fake metrics and that you could then hang them with it. And the beauty is, I just say, people should ask him if what he was citing was the Kinsey scale. Because once he even tries to answer this question, it's glorious. Glorious. Are you citing the Kinsey scale? Because, and not anything more than that. One of the most glorious and feltings ever. But, all right, peace.